What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I am Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy, single game $1 million winner, and we're here with some NFL DFS picks and lineup advice for tonight's single game showdown slate: Monday Night Football, FanDuel, DraftKings, Yahoo, San Francisco 49ers, Los Angeles Rams. We're here to give you everything you need for tonight's slate. In this video, we'll talk about the injuries and the actives, inactives, role changes, everything you need to know to get a handle on how these two teams will play the game, low risk and high risk lineup construction tips, and just some general strategies to help get to the top of your contest leaderboards. So before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel. As always, get notified when we go live, upload any new videos. We're getting close to 3,000 subscribers. We appreciate you. If you hit that subscribe button, helps you out as well. Give us that thumbs up if you like the showdown content and want to see more of it. Any questions, comment on the video below or join our Discord server. Click the join button below the video, get access to our OccupyFantasy.com staff, and talk with other members of the Occupy Fantasy community. So let's jump into it. Rams, 49ers. The Rams are about a 3.5-point road favorite. Pretty tight expected game here. And we have a decent amount of injury news to cover, and it impacts how you create low risk and high risk lineups. So let's jump right into it. The biggest injury we'll see is Robert Woods. They priced him all the way down. Thank you for that, DraftKings. Robert Woods unfortunately tore his ACL in practice on Friday. That's a big loss to this offense. Pretty decent target share for Robert Woods, so it changes a lot of things, opens up some opportunity. Now, coincidentally, they also signed Odell Beckham later last week as well. Now, I don't know how many people are going to think. Maybe the casual player thinks Odell Beckham just slides right into Robert Woods' role. But they play two completely different positions. If you watch the hashtag tape grinders on Twitter or read the articles, you'll know that they're going to play two separate positions and that Odell will not just slide right into what Robert Woods was doing. Jay Glazer came out with a report on Sunday morning before the main slate game started, and he said that Odell Beckham is just going to have a package of plays for this game. How much? Who knows? Can he hit value with just a package of plays at 7,400? Probably not, but let's monitor his ownership. The player who's actually going to get the biggest bump, well, one, Van Jefferson, going to see more targets as a result as the de facto number 2 wide receiver. But the player who's going to take Robert Woods' role in the offense is, let's keep scrolling. And if you've heard this name before, it likely means you're a part of our preseason content. But I'm just going to type his name because there's too many $200 players. Ben Skowronek. Yes, the famed Ben Skowronek. Min price going to take Robert Woods' role. He's a rookie this year, draft pick. Is he good? Shrug. Who knows? But he's going to fill that Robert Woods role. Will he see Robert Woods volume? Probably not. But again, we have a starting wide receiver in an explosive offense at the minimum price. People are going to be attracted to that, assuming they're paying attention to the news. So that's the big one. So you have to figure out, one, how popular will Skowronek be and where do you want to play him? Two, how many plays, snaps, touches, targets will Odell Beckham get? Big questions for the Rams side tonight. On the 49ers side, a couple injuries that don't seem like they impact a lot, but of course, every injury impacts showdown. So Eli Mitchell, obviously the starter at running back for San Francisco, but JaMycal Hasty, who's been the number 2 running back in recent weeks, let's keep scrolling. There he is. Also min price for some reason. He's out. Ankle, re-aggravated new injury. He's out. So the number 2 running back tonight will be not Trey Sermon. He's still in the doghouse for whatever reason. It's going to be Jeff Wilson Jr., who they talked about. They activated off injured reserve last week. He's going to be the number 2 guy. Should see some snaps, a decent amount of plays in this offense, and he's just $1,800 at the captain spot, $1,200 in the flex. Jeff Wilson we expect to be pretty popular as well. People know the name at least more than Ben Skowronek, and he's a running back, so a higher floor. Think Wilson will be higher owned, more popular, but something we have to monitor throughout the day, see what the industry is saying, see what people are saying on Twitter, just to get a feel of what the field is going to do. And then Mohamed Sanu is out as well. We see him here with the out tag. He's out. He's been playing 50%-ish of the snaps lately as the wide receiver 3. He's going to be out, which means Trent Sherfield's likely the guy to take his role. He is also minimum price. So we have a lot of minimum price options on this slate. We think Sherfield's going to be the least popular of the 3. So maybe a little pivot there. But again, the fact that we have 3 of these guys to play means we're able to pay up and play guys like Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, who are generally pretty tough to fit in when we don't have that much value. So all this being said, let's talk about low-risk lineups, 50-50s, double-ups, head-to-heads. Like to lock up the scoring, both quarterbacks, both running backs, and we can do that here, right? So if we play Stafford, Garoppolo, Darrell Henderson, Eli Mitchell, $4,100 left per player, we can make this work however we want, right? If we play, let's say we play someone like Ben Skoranek. Okay, 8K left per player. We could play Kittle if we wanted to. That's pretty decent. Now, the big question obviously is, like, how do you fade Cooper Kupp? Without Robert Woods, should see an increased target volume. We know he's an incredibly popular player. Should be the most popular player on the entire slate. Doesn't really fit what we normally do in low-risk contests, but it's a major risk to not play him. And so you have to get him in there somehow, right? So if we do this, this obviously doesn't... Well, hold on, let's get here. Let's get Eli Mitchell back in here. Where is he? And now we put Cooper Kupp. We have to save $4,000 somehow, right? Even if we put the least expensive player here, the least expensive core player, the running back, Eli Mitchell. Let's put him at captaincy. Now Cooper Kupp, 9K. Can't get Stafford there. So it makes it tough. The one thing you could do, and we've seen this before, and I think we'll see some pros do it, is you play the value play of your preference at the captain spot and you jam those other 5 guys. That's probably the way I would play it tonight, just because you can't avoid not playing Cooper Kupp and he goes for 10, 120, and 2 touchdowns at his ownership. Can't do it. And you have that same dilemma on FanDuel, right? Because the normal strategy, and I think it's a little more okay on FanDuel, especially when you consider Cooper Kupp's price and you consider the scoring system here, because we can make this happen, right? Now we play one of those value guys, round out the lineup. I think that's certainly possible. Do you want to risk not playing Cooper Kupp? If you do, that means you have to... You can't even, like, let's say we don't like playing the underdog running back, right? If in this scenario, we take him out, that's only 1K left. We can't do that. Let's get Eli Mitchell back in there. The only way to do it is to leave. Nope, can't do that either. So it makes it really tough, right? You have to leave one of these guys out. Probably, I don't know. It's tough. But this tells me the fact that there's no clear way to do this, it makes it a lot easier to fade Kupp in low-risk contests on FanDuel just because of everything we're seeing here. So, again, a little risky, but definitely not as risky as it is on DraftKings, and I think we can go with that core 4 approach here. All right, let's talk about high-risk contests. All right, leagues, GPPs, satellites. Before we get into that, make sure you check out the daily plug, occupyfantasy.com, normally posted by 3 p.m. Eastern. The link's in the description below. We give rankings for all different contest types for FanDuel and DraftKings, as well as lineup-specific strategies on how to take all this information and build winning lineups for depending on the contest that you're playing. Make sure you check that out because this is just a high-level overview. This video, again, recording 11 a.m. Eastern. Things are going to change in the afternoon as we get more ownership projections, more accurate ownership projections throughout the day. Make sure you check that out. So high risk, I think it's a pretty good slate for the underdog strategy, right, that we've talked about here over the long haul. We see less underdogs than we should in the captain spot. And if you look at what the field's going to do, a vast majority of the field is going to play Rams heavy lineups, which means 4 Rams, 2 49ers, 5 Rams, 1 49er, Rams captains. So we can get automatically different in these contests if we play a 49ers captain. Jimmy Garoppolo, we project for 5% at the captain spot. Takes I don't even know what the word is, but it takes some faith here to play Jimmy G at the captain spot. I understand that. The more reasonable options are probably Debo, who we expect to be a little around 10%, 12%, but just an insane target share in this offense. Eli Mitchell, without JaMychal Hasty, there's a chance he gets 90% of the work, right? We talked about Jeff Wilson, but if Jeff Wilson, who's just coming back from injury, isn't ready to handle 30% of the touches, Eli Mitchell could have a massive game. And we know they like to run the ball. The Rams, their teams to run the ball. Eli Mitchell makes sense. It makes a ton of sense as a captain if you're going with the underdog game script. If you have to play Rams captains, right? Let's say you have to play Cooper Kupp, and you should probably. He's 25% captain. Just an insane player, right? If you play him, how do you get different? You have to play at least 2 unpopular players. So we talked about those cheaper guys, right? There are other cheaper players you could play, right? Let's say these are just examples of how you have to think about it. We expect Trent Sherfield to be the wide receiver 3. There's a chance, however, that it's actually Jawan Jennings, and he's going to be less than 1% owned. You make that pivot. We talked about Skoranek. If he's the Robert Woods filler, sure, that's a great play. What if the Rams, instead of running out some random dude as their wide receiver 3, play more 2 tight end sets? And now we have Tyler Higbee as a great option, and we have Bryson Hopkins or Kendall Bland as their number 2 tight end. Those guys less than 1%. So if you're playing more popular captains, you have to think about those pivots at the bottom. But I think the key strategy here on DraftKings is play a 49ers captain in these large field contests, in these high-risk contests. Automatically get different. Then you can play as many Rams as you want in the flex spots as long as it makes sense using our correlation rules. Or if you do play a popular captain, you have to get different and play a super pivot, some guy that's way off leverage that people aren't going to play because they're going to, if they play, because like you saw in the low risk lineup, right? Most people are going to play Cooper Kupp, and then they're going to play one of those value guys, whether it's Wilson, and now you look like almost all the field. So just get different in some way, or leave some salary. FanDuel, we have Matthew Stafford as the highest projected, the most popular MVP. Cooper Kupp right behind him. I still think Eli Mitchell is a fantastic pivot here too, right? Running backs a little bit more likely to be optimal MVP on FanDuel than DraftKings. Got a guy who could conceivably get 90% of the work in a great running game, a great running scheme. Eli Mitchell, 5% at MVP, fantastic pivot. If you play Stafford or Kupp, you have to get one, maybe two of those cheap guys, save some salary. It's a little bit different on FanDuel. These guys won't be as popular as they are on DraftKings. I'm talking about Jeff Wilson, Skoranek, Trent Sherfield to a lesser extent. So feel free to play those guys here. You just have to leave some more salary if you want to not tie with 500 people if you play Stafford or Kupp at the MVP spot. So hope this helps. Again, just a high-level overview. Make sure you check out the content at OccupyFantasy.com, the daily plug, the Occupy model, which updates live. Use our lineup builder. Take all this information, make some great lineups tonight. Before we get out of here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're getting close to 3K. We'll do a giveaway at 3K. Help us get there. Less than half of the people who watch our videos aren't subscribed. It's a big metric for us. Please help us. And helps you get notified whenever we put out a brand new video. Give us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. Lets us know that you like this content. Any questions, comment on the video. Join our Discord server. That's the best way to get access to our staff and our other members to chat about DFS. So, Brian Jester for Occupy Fantasy. Appreciate you listening as always. Good luck tonight, and we will talk to you soon.